So you're making a move to Utah and you're wondering, how much does it cost? You're there on the internet searching, but it gives you some pretty broad descriptions and prices. So today I'm going to cover some of the most popular items that I get asked about on a weekly basis. So let's get after it right now. And welcome to the Living in Utah channel. I'm Mike Gallagher. I'm a local real estate agent right here in the local area. And apart from making videos, we help people buy or sell real estate right here in the local area. So if I can be of any assistance, I'll put my contact information on the screen. It's also down in the show notes. So today, I'm going to be breaking down the costs associated with living in Utah. First of all, let's go over what I'll be talking about on this particular video. First of all, we're going to cover property taxes. Then we're going to cover earthquake insurance. Earthquakes in Utah? Yes, we do have them. Number 3, we're going to talk about the median home price. We're going to choose different counties throughout the state, north to south. And number 4, we're going to cover utility bills. But on this video, I'm going to cover how I save on my utility bills. And number 5, those unexpected Utah costs. After all, every state just has those costs that just kind of get you. And number 6, we're going to cover internet. It's the wild, wild west out there when it comes to internet providers. One of the things I get asked about all the time is property taxes. What is the rate for property taxes? Well, there is no exact rate. It does vary between counties. It can even vary between cities. My home, for instance, I have secondary water to water the yard throughout the summer months. That bill is added to my property taxes. So my rate might be $400 or $500 more than another city or another county. I put up some data over the last 60 days on some homes that have sold in a few of the counties throughout Utah, mostly here in northern Utah. And I'm going to go over the $400,000 price range and the $800,000 price range to give you some examples on what the property tax bill will be. Keep in mind that the prices that I'm quoting is the yearly rate, not the monthly rate. Let's start up north with Weber County, areas like Ogden and Roy. If you are in about the $400,000 price range, you're $1,799. Up to the $800,000 price range, we are about $4,277. When we move into Davis County, cities like Layton, Kaysville, Bountiful, $400,000 property, about $1,740. If we go up to an $800,000 home, we're about $3,797. We drop down into Salt Lake County, cities like Salt Lake City, West Jordan, Midvale, $400,000 home, about $2,052. Jump up to an $800,000 home, $4,062 per year. If we jump down to Utah County, Provo, Orem, Lehigh, Saratoga Springs, $400,000 property, about $1,669, and an $800,000 home, about $4,300. And you'll notice that most of the counties, the rate is about the same, give or take a little bit, a few dollars here or there. Sometimes some city will whack on a different charge than another city. If you would like to do your own research on the property tax values, most of the counties that I'm aware of, it is all online. You can go to the particular county website and do a property search. You would enter the land serial number, or if you do not know the land serial number, you could enter the address and the information would pull up in front of you. I pulled one up real quick on a property that I own, and it shows every single year, 2022, $2,040. It also tells you the date it was paid and is there any amount due, and you can look at the previous history. So if you would like to know what property taxes are on a particular address, you can look it up for yourself. Also, this is a handy site. If someone offers you a piece of property, this has happened with land deals quite a bit, mostly because they're vacant. So if somebody contacts you, say, I've got a great deal, send me $50,000 and it's all yours. do a little bit of research. One of the quickest things, go on, pull up the land serial number or the address and see who the owner's name of record is and see if it matches the individual that you are talking to or emailing. That'll give you a quick indication if it is fraud, and then you can continue from there with your investigation. Let's say you don't agree with your property taxes. Are you aware that you can appeal your property taxes? I appeal all my properties every single year without a doubt, even in 2022. And I had success in 2022. As prices were going up, I did appeal the value of the home and I did win. So every county has their own appeal process. Most of them are the same. There is a window. They will send you notification on your estimated tax bill for the upcoming year. And on the back of the form will be instructions on how to appeal or the website address to take you to the appeal process. Some counties it's online. Some counties you have to mail it in. I pulled up Davis County and to give an idea of what they require as, quote, evidence as to why you feel your property taxes should not be at the current rate. You can use anything on their list here. You can attach a copy of a closing document if you just purchased a home. You can attach a copy of an appraisal. You can also choose 3 or more comparable properties. That is the method that I typically do most years. I get 3 comparable properties, figure out what the square footage is, and they will put on the form, what do you feel the value of your home is? And I always fill that out. Also, there is an income approach to value, mostly used for commercial properties. If you have rental properties, this will probably also work. And if there is a factual error, let's say they've got the square footage wrong or some other details about your property that is incorrect, you can appeal that also. This is all for free. You can appeal for free. They can only say no. So I appeal every year. They will make a decision if they agree with your amount or maybe a different amount. And this past year, my amount was low. I did lowball them, and I did not get that amount, but I did get another amount far lower than what their estimated amount was. That's not the end of it. If you still disagree, you can request a hearing and plead your case. Does not cost you any money. If you would like to go to the hearing and appeal your case. And next on my list, earthquake insurance. In general, it is usually not part of your homeowner's policy. You normally have to pay an additional premium. So the big question is, do we get earthquakes in Utah? Well, yes, we do. The most recent, what we consider major quakes, was in 2020. We had one in Magna, Utah, which is located just south of the Salt Lake International Airport. It read 5.7. Back in 1992, down in St. George, Utah, we received a 5.8 magnitude quake. And in 1989, in Sevier County, we had a 5.2 magnitude earthquake. That's our most recent quakes. Now, I know some people will say, Mike, that is not major. 5.7, 5.8. But for Utah, that would be considered our major quakes. Oh, and just recently up in Logan, Utah, the northern part of our state, just a couple weeks ago, we received a quake that was reading about in the 2.0 range. It did a little bit of damage to some people's homes, but that was our most recent quake. So, insurance. The question is, some people do get insurance and some don't. Now, nationally, about 8% purchase insurance. In Utah, 14% purchase earthquake insurance. And you're probably wondering, Mike, do you purchase earthquake insurance? No, I do not. At one time I did. Back in the 1990s, I had coverage. Back then, it was just an additional fee on top of my normal policy. Then the insurance company made it with a $10,000 deductible, so I continued. But then a few years later, the insurance company changed it to 10% of the home value is what your deductible was. At that point, we dropped the coverage. Let's say, for instance, you have a $750,000 home. Your deductible would be $75,000. Next on my list, what is the median home price? I pulled some data for January of 2023. This encompasses all price ranges and also all styles of homes, whether it's a townhome, a condo, or a single family home. Let's start in the southern part of the state this time with Washington County. The popular city down there would be the St. George, Utah area. We are at $480,000. If we move north to Utah County, cities like Provo, Orem, Eagle Mountain, Lehigh, we are currently at $474,000. Actually, $473,396 to be exact. If we move a little further north to Salt Lake County, areas like Salt Lake City, Midvale, Magna, we would be at $496,705. If we move a little further north to Davis County, cities like Layton, Kaysville, Bountiful, $476,000. If we move further north to Weber County, cities like Ogden, Roy, North Ogden, South Ogden, $402,500. $402,500. If we move further north to Cache County, popular city up there would be Logan, Utah, $399,000. So that is the current data as of January of 2023. The next topic, the utility bills. Now, I'm not going to cover my exact utility bills. I have that on another video. I have a cost of living video, and I receive a lot of comments on how reasonable my electric and gas bill is. So I was going to go over some of the things that I have done to keep the bills a little bit lower. Let's start with the summer months, trying to get those electric bills a little bit lower while you're running the AC. The key to the game is to get the heat out of the attic. There's a few ways you can do it. One is to install turtle vents. It's a vent that allows the air to escape out of your attic. Now, some people say it looks ugly on the roof when a roofer installs these turtle vents. Most of them will install them on the rear of the home. So when you're looking out there from the street at your home, you usually don't see the vents. Another method is to install what they refer to as ridge vent. This is installed on the top of your roof. They cut out a small portion of the wood and shingles. They install the ridge vent. This allows the air to go up to the highest point and escape out. The other way to get that hot air out of your attic is to install attic fans. I've seen some that have been installed on the gable vents to push the air out. I've also seen some fans on the top of the roof. Now, these devices can be controlled by a switch or by a thermostat. Reaches a certain temperature, kicks on, kicks off. I've also heard now they've got solar-powered vents that you can install on your roof. And also a note, on the inside of the home, I've also installed fans in the living room. I have 2 fans in the living room, and I have 1 in each bedroom. Works great in, say, that April, May time period where the temperature rises a little bit, but you don't need the air conditioner on full time. The fans will cool the temperature down, and it does help during the hot summer months also. Okay, during the winter months, how do we save on some of our bills? Once again, we're back in the attic. It all goes to the attic. This time, we're trying to keep the heat inside the house from escaping, keep that warmth inside. And it all comes down to attic insulation. I have installed about 3 times the normal amount of insulation up there in my attic. Now, I've lived in the house for 16 years, and I felt that the extra investment that I would put in that insulation would pay me back for many years. Next topic, how about some of those unexpected Utah costs? After all, every state has to bring revenue in some form or manner. And some states, they just kind of like get you with these extra fees. Well, in Utah, one of our fees is the state income tax. Yes, we do have a state income tax. It is currently 4.85%. It's a flat fee across the board. It did drop a little. We were at 4.95%. Now, I know there are states out there, Texas, Florida, that has no state income tax. But I've also heard that these states, the property taxes are very, very high. As we're talking about taxes, we do have a sales tax, roughly 7.25%. Now, in different cities and counties, it can be a little higher, a little lower. They do have a little bit of a leeway to adjust that, but in general, plan on 7.25%. Now, when you buy groceries at the grocery store, the sales tax is lower. They are currently talking about trying to eliminate the sales tax on groceries. We'll see how that plays out. If they change that, I'll be the first to let you know. Do you own a vehicle? In the state of Utah, you have to register that vehicle. So I'm going to put on the screen what the fees are to register your vehicle. It's done pretty much in categories depending on the age of your vehicle. So if your vehicle is less than 3 years old, the fee is $150. Now this fee goes all the way down to $10. On top of this fee is a license plate fee. If you get the standard Ski Utah license plates, is probably the least expensive. If you have a personalized license plate, it will run a little bit more money. There's also some license plates. You'll see a sticker on the side for like one of the local universities or for cancer research or for the armed forces. There is an extra fee for that. The money that is raised from the additional fee goes to that particular organization. Another fee, if you are renting a place, there are application fees. $25, $50, $100. Yes, I've seen some that are $100. Now, I'm not sure if this is charged in other states. It seems to be a very common practice in Utah. Every time you fill out an application, you have to pay this particular application fee. How about internet services? The good news is in Utah, they do have fiber, cable internet, 5G, DSL, satellite. Some of the big companies like Xfinity, T-Mobile, CenturyLink, HughesNet, UBB, Quantum Fiber, and many, many more. But honestly, it's a mess. I call it the wild, wild west of the internet service providers. And why is it such a mess? Well, fiber is not available in all cities, and it gets even more complicated. There are some cities that have fiber, but not in all areas. You might have 80% of the city that has fiber and 20% that doesn't. Take, for instance, where I live. There is no fiber coming into my neighborhood, but I can drive 2 miles down the road. The neighbors there, they all have fiber internet. I must have upset somebody. And currently, my particular service provider is Xfinity, the Xfinity cable service. I currently pay about $220 a month. That also includes not only internet, but also cable TV and also a home phone. And in conclusion, that's today's video. If you'd like to learn more about living in Utah, you may consider tapping that subscribe button down below and hitting that bell notification. And you'll receive an alert every time I release a new video. Until the next video, take care, stay safe.